Yeah, when our staff, this was our first tank, and so when we did our initial estimate, we just figured that we would have some in-house expertise. We were short, and we didn't have that expertise that Strand did, and so we realized that it's a little more complex than we could handle ourselves, and so that's why it was off.
Thank you.
And yeah, this was in the background, I think, that question. So, any other questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Ely?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Agreement for vehicle maintenance and repair services with Joe Rizzo Ford of Orland Park.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve authorizing the village manager to execute the agreement for vehicle maintenance and repair services with Joe Rizzo Ford of Orland Park.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
George, are they strictly going to be repairing the Ford products?
That's who, so our primary passenger and light duty vehicles are Ford products, and so that is going to be, we're sending our Ford products there. They can do more, but beyond that, we're into our heavy duty equipment, and the heavy duty equipment we'll maintain in-house as best as we can.
And how did we come to the conclusion that it would be cheaper to send these products to Ford versus in-house?
So if the board may recall, as part of the ERI, and then we had our a reduction in staffing that occurred because of the financial constraints due to COVID, we eliminated a number of positions.
Right, I read all that.
Yep. And so one of those salaries is going to go towards the outsourcing. I know and previously I've done an analysis on these PM, the PM costs, and generally our costs, we can't beat the dealership for these costs when you factor in everything else. So it's better for our personnel who are much more highly trained to focus on the very complicated, the bigger pieces of equipment, the routine PMs, the brakes, oil changes. Price-wise, when you factor everything in, we don't compare. And so we're very fortunate too, because we do have a Ford dealership in town. There are a lot of towns that don't have Ford dealerships. And so it's just a quick in and out.
And George, our employee mechanic costs are all in, they're six figures, I'm assuming, all in.
Yeah,
benefits
easily.
And everything, which relative to someone working at Ford on these types of routine maintenance, obviously is far greater.
And if you think about it, when we got rid of one mechanic, by having this contract, we're actually bringing on dozens of mechanics because they have dozens there. So we even saw that today with one of the squad cars, had a nail in a tire, they pulled in, priority, they were out in 20 minutes. So we can't provide that level of service, that quickness, because we just don't have that wide depth. So this is a pilot program. We're going to see how this works out for us. We'll have cost comparisons. This is good till the end of next year, and this all gets factored into with what we're doing with Mercury and Associates. So I think it's going to be a win-win. We're helping a business and we're helping ourselves too.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
it does go through December 31st of 2021, but it also gives the village a right to terminate with 30-day notice, correct?
Correct.
And so if the level of service isn't satisfactory, which I doubt that it's going to be the case, but you do have a right to terminate prior to the expiration with no penalty.
That's absolutely right.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mayor Peacock.
Trustee Dodge.
So George, when are we going to see the math on this? Because I get that you have the statutory authority to do this, right? Village manager, form of government, but where's what are the numbers that this is going to save us X, and the visibility to the explicit trade-offs we're making by reducing staff and outsourcing a contract? And before you say anything, George, I want to make it explicitly clear for the future record. I bought my first car from RZA in college, and I bought a number of cars from him over the years, so I'm a big fan of RZA and Ford products, so that's not the issue. I want to be explicitly clear about that. I just want to know where the details and the math are to bring this up now.
Absolutely. So if we can, we just started our pilot, and so and we're running our figures right now. We can either wait for the full year to see how this pans out. But like I mentioned, when it comes to a tire, for example, I've done this analysis in the past. We can't beat their prices. I mean, because their tire prices incorporate like labor and stuff. It's our labor cost that drives up our costs. And so, and they work on book rates. We don't. There is an incentive for them to get this stuff done quicker. But absolutely, as part of this whole process, we are going to have that analysis as we're going on.
All right, so I guess, Mayor Pico, to continue my first question, is you're saying you think that this will pan out.
Yep.
That's what you're representing.
Yep.
And you're asking us to say, let's give this a try.
Right.
Okay, so do we have even a preliminary analysis or any kind of pro forma to say, yeah, this pencils out where we're better off on a cost per tire fixed or oil change delivered to do it outsourced versus fully loaded? To pick up the points that we've talked about earlier, most people in government don't do fully loaded costs. So if this is a better deal for the village, great. I just want to see the math sooner
Absolutely.
rather than later.
You got it.
So why don't I suggest this, because there'll be plenty of opportunities between now and, say, the end of November before the budget season, before the budget is approved. Why don't you give us the analysis for the first, from the time we start this until the end of November.
You got it.
Bring it back, because we have 30 days, we can cancel it, so.
And we don't even have to take vehicles there. I mean, it's just a contract, so if we decide not to, there's no requirement to take vehicles.
And I see the benefit. I mean, you have a tire, for example. Now you have to come in, whatever our guy is doing on another important piece of equipment has to drop that, has to now start doing tires. They've got someone there doing tires all day long, right? So they've got to get the, so then they've got to completely change what they're doing, and the same thing with an oil change, that type of thing. So, and obviously we can run the whole fleet through RZA in a day if we wanted to for oil change. We can't do that because we just have one mechanic. So I certainly see, I see the potential benefits, and again, having had a fleet not nearly as large as ours, but pretty large, I recognize that routine maintenance made sense to just go over to the oil change shop and do it, and not do it in-house because we had better things to do with the mechanic that came in to fix our other equipment.
Sure. Mayor Pico?
Trustee Dodge?
Just additionally, George, when you take a look at this, and we've used this type of logic in the past to take a look at other projects. For example, one of the big arguments about having someplace out southwest for, let's say, salt, reduced travel and cycle times on our major plows to keep them on the street doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I just would like staff, strongly recommend that we think about the cost per hour of cycle time, because I'm assuming we're taking the vehicles to RZA as opposed to them coming to Porter them back and forth. So just properly done, fully loaded cost benefits.
Will do.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas?
just wanted to say, looking at some of their prices, I'm sure it's a fleet discounted price, but I think their prices are very attractive. I wish I can take my own car and get it done for this amount. So I think they were very fair with their bid proposal that's shown here. Thank you.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Main Street Triangle Parking Structure Automatic Parking Access Control System.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve accepting Designa Access Corporation's proposal in the amount not to exceed $33,755.52. And I move to approve accepting a 10% contingency in the amount not to exceed $3,375.55.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just have, Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
just a quick question. What happens if the garage shuts and they can't get out? Do they have to call the police?
It says that in there. It automatically goes up for anyone leaving.
As the vehicle approaches, the gate will go up for them automatically.
Okay,
But there is an intercom there just in case.
okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy.
Is this garage, does this benefit the UFC operation? And
Not so much
do they own
UFC
part of the?
operations, it's more of the vandalism and the challenges we have there in the evenings. So UFC operations are closed by that point. The police have been out there quite often for just vandalism and spinning tires and all that's occurring there. So this is to reduce that.
Okay, thank you.
There.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
$15501 South 70th Court, Class 8 Resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
could I have a resolution number, John?
2046.
I move to pass resolution number 2046 entitled "The Resolution Determining the Appropriateness for Class 8 Status Pursuant to the Cook County Real Property Classification Ordinance, as from time to time amended specifically for the special assessment of abandoned property with no special circumstance for certain real estate located at 15501 South 70th Court, Bremen Township, Orland Park, Cook County, Illinois, PIN number 28-18-100-047-1001.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Volkswagen of Orland Park Vehicle Service Area Building Addition 8920 West 159th Street.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the site plan elevations and special use permit amendment for the Volkswagen Vehicle Service Area Building Addition located at 8920 West 159th Street as recommended at the October 6, 2020 Plan Commission meeting and as fully referenced in the motion below.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Resolution regarding extension of economic development business incentives in response to COVID-19.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve resolution number 2047 titled "Resolution Regarding Extension of Application Deadline for Orland Park Commercial Impact Program."
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor Pico?
Trustee Dodge.
I think it certainly makes sense to keep something like this in place. None of us certainly can predict how far the economy is going to be damaged given what we're going through with COVID. I guess what I'd like to do is with this program and with some of our other incentives, perhaps as a matter of formal policy, when we offer a package of incentives to a business, whether it's a program like this, in terms of forgiveness of various and sundry fees, or it's a sales tax agreement, that the village sees the entirety of all the packages that they're applying for and the total costs. And so I guess my question then, Mayor Pico, is I don't know if we necessarily want to try and amend anything to this, but perhaps at a future committee meeting, or we can discuss staff, when somebody comes before the village for incentives to do something great in our town, everybody sees all the fully loaded costs of supporting them, whether it's this program or it's any other types of sales tax, abatements or incentive types of programs.
All of these programs have to be approved by the board anyway, so I just think it's a direction to staff to make sure you have that when it comes to the board for approval.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I think this is a good program. Obviously, we don't know how far COVID's going to go. We're in a pretty strong fiscal position to ensure that businesses develop here, and that when they do come out of their shell and want to start building again or expanding again, that they come here first. So I think this is a great program for that. Call the roll.
Trustee Malani? Aye. Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
151st Street delays caused by Comcast.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve up to $75,000 in overtime costs for the 151st Street project. And I move to approve authorizing staff to seek reimbursement from Comcast for a total of $175,000 to cover the costs for overtime in 2020 and additional construction costs in 2021 caused by Comcast delays.
Second.
Any questions or comments? George, you want to give us a little background?
And I'll turn it over to Krishit here in a second, but staff has been working very hard to try to get this project on time, to keep it on track. And there were a number of delays, all related to Comcast taking their equipment down, that has got to the point where we right now, we're seeking this overtime so that we can at least get the two-way traffic ready for this winter, and then we'll finish up the intersections next year. Very unfortunate. It's not unusual for our utilities to do this, but we are going to seek reimbursement. We will do our best to seek reimbursement from Comcast because of these delays.
Any other questions?
Mayor Pico.
Trustee Dodge.
So I certainly get it, and it certainly feels good to want Comcast to get this done, but short of litigation, I'm not going to hold out much hope.
Yeah, we're going to do our best. In other utilities, the other utilities, some are pretty good on paying for the delays. They know it, but I don't know how it's going to work with in this case. But we've already been working with KTJ attorneys to get this all ready to go. Once the project is completed, we're going to have all those final prices.
Got it. And then just a minor suggestion, the motion for the $75,000 is actually for overtime and other cost overruns, not just overtime staff hours, correct? Just so I make sure I hear that
75
right.
is just overtime.
Just the overtime, okay.
Yep. And then the other 100,000 is going to be the additional costs that it's going to take for next year.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any other comments? Call roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello? Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Budget adjustments, fourth quarter 2020.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve an increase to the fiscal year 2020 expenditure budget of the Retiree Medical and OPEB Fund in the amount of $294,995 and a decrease in the general fund by $4,300.
Second.
And George, could you just, just give us background on the costs with the retiree medical and OPEB fund. I know it's pension and health benefits to our retirees. That's what's driving this cost, but if we could get a little detail on it.
Yep, and maybe I'll ask Kevin to kind of fill the board in on this.
Yeah, so the OPEB fund, the retiree health insurance and OPEB fund, is used to pay for health insurance claims of our retirees. And this year, we had a significantly higher number of retirees than in the past because of the ERI. So early on in the year, we had health insurance. We paid out health insurance claims to our retirees over $100,000 for the first couple of months. The budget had anticipated about $50,000 per month to be paid in retiree health insurance claims, and even for the first 5 months of the year, every month was over that $50,000 mark, over $100,000 for the first 2 months, and then has dropped each month since then. But for the first half of the year, we were spending for retiree health insurance claims well higher than what we had included in the budget.
And while you weren't here, so you may not know the answer to this question. I'll ask it in a leading fashion. I'm assuming that a lot of the reason for this is because we had so many more retirees take this. That's why we underestimated this fund.
That's what it looks like, yes.
So, in theory, with that many more retirees taking this, there'll be more benefits and cost reductions that will offset this. In our other costs. We're not going to see that, of course, in the budget here, but we should see it in the budget going forward. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Mayor Pico?
Trustee Dodge?
So I guess as an abstract question, this was potentially anticipatable when prior staff was starting to estimate the cost of the early retirement programs, correct? It doesn't sound like we carried an estimate of potential claims increase with people taking the ERI. That's my conclusion. Is that about right?
It was underestimated.
By prior staff?
Yes, this was as part of the budget approval.
Okay, because I don't remember being told as a voting member of this board by prior finance staff that this is a potential risk, and I don't know if I ever saw numbers adjusting for this. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
I believe there were some additional health care costs, but we also assumed, I can't remember how many people we assumed that were going to retire, and I think that number, correct me if I'm wrong, ended up being much higher than we originally assumed. Was that?
I believe that's true, yes.
So I agree with you that the previous staff may have underestimated it, but I think they also may have part of that underestimation might be that they underestimated how many people were actually going to take retirement, and I'm sure COVID had an impact as well on that retirement. Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Ordinance amending appendices A and B to ordinance number 5525.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy.
John, could I have an ordinance number?
5551.
I move to approve ordinance number 5551, entitled Ordinance Amending Appendices A and B to ordinance number 5525.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
This, Mayor Pico,
Trustee Dodge.
this is strictly for staff, correct, George? Just
That's correct.
double checking. Thank you.
And do we have a comparison of what this was compared to what it was before?
So so the first part of it is in the Human Resources Department, we're reducing staff from 3.5 full-time equivalents to 3 full-time personnel. And as part of that, the part-time position is going to be moved into the full-time. But overall, the staffing is being reduced from 3.5 to 3. And on the other one, it's really just a title change from web and application support technician to communications and marketing assistant, which
I think you're on the wrong. So we're amending the salary ranges, correct?
just the salary ordinance. So these are just title changes. So what the only real changes here are where the one coordinator is going from part-time to full-time, but overall in that department it's being reduced. And the other one is just title changes.
So everything else is the same, no
Right.
changes to salaries. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Outsourcing of HR leave management functions, professional services agreement.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve entering into an agreement with TRUP HR for a period of 1 year for HR leave management functions.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor Pico?
Trustee Dodge.
George, just talk me through the process you went through to find this firm.
Sure. Denise, could you, if you want to go up to the thing. So Denise was, as we were evaluating the entire, all the changes to the department, let me just start with this. Our previous assistant HR director took another position somewhere else. We promoted within, and this was that part-time position now becomes, so we've reduced the positions in the department. And so what Denise did was she was looking for opportunities to make that department more efficient so that they would stop having to function and worry about the minutia and really think strategically. So she went and she researched as many of these firms that do this, and so she can just talk about maybe your due diligence process, Denise.
Sure, thank you. So Society of Human Resource Management has a variety of vendor listings and resources available for these types of services in terms of benefits and leaves management resources and vendors. And TRUP came up as one of the leader ones in addition to Pinnacle and another resource. I vetted them through contacting some of their references. I specifically sought those in firms that were looking and working with municipalities and with private sector. This organization has a mix of both, they indicated, as well as Pinnacle. My concern was because this was our first opportunity and first venture in moving in this direction, I wanted to have a resource that was a limited time scope, so this contract would be about a year service, and should the village decide to expand that, we could have that option.
Thank you. Just following up, George, appreciate that clarity. Well, playing it back, it's like your research turned up this firm, and this looks like a good option for us in the short term to increase productivity and/or manage costs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And the question I have is, so leave management seems like something that we should be able to handle largely through our ERP system. Is the new ERP system going to be able to handle this?
So the problem with leave management is that it's not just so much as it is software as it is, there's a lot of legal components to it. Denise, maybe you can just walk through some of the challenges.
So the Tyler Technologies product will definitely assist us. I've worked with Tyler Tech with their Eden's processing software in the past, and so it has those components to it, Mayor, and it'll allow us to better track some of those leaves. There are complexities with regard to various leaves based on state, federal laws. Depending upon the type of leave that is available, and then add to that the various contracts that we have with the village and other benefit paid and non-paid leave options. So our desire is that will be the answer with Tyler Tech, but I expect that this will probably be a meld of both, an outsourcing opportunity as well as Tyler.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Rapid COVID-19 testing.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Katsinas.
I move to approve authorizing the village manager to authorize an agreement with Arc Point Labs of Orland Park for COVID-19 related testing.
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Trustee Dodge. Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Do we have any citizens or visitors, anybody that wants to speak? Come on up. State your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Madeline Flaherty, Orland Park. Early voting started today, and I think there's a few things that voters should be aware of. I know I've heard, seen things online that people question whether or not there should be marks on a ballot. There shouldn't be any codes or anything on the ballot, any marks, except for the initials of the judges. There is a specific box for that. So that is okay if you see the judge's initials in a box. Other markings should not be there. The other thing is that in this election, more than any other, mail-in and absentee ballots have become very significant. If a voter who has gotten an absentee ballot chooses to vote at the polling place, they can do so. A number of people that I've spoken to felt that they had to request a mail-in ballot, which they did not because of all the mailings that they received. If you've gotten a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot and you choose not to vote it, take it with you to the polling place and submit it to the judge, because when your name comes up on the screen, it will show that you requested the ballot. Submit it to the judge, and then you can proceed to vote, and your ballot will be cast. If you've decided you want to vote in person, but you got rid of the ballot, you destroyed it, you forgot to bring it with you, you can still vote in person, but you will be provisional. There's a form that's filled out by the judge and the voter. The voter then votes on the touchpad, the touch screen, and as of the last election, the primary, that then produces a paper ballot as well. That ballot is taken by the voter and put in a special envelope, sealed by the voter. That goes to the judge. That will go in the blue ballot at the end of the night, and that will be submitted to the drop-off station. In this area, it's at Bridgeview Courthouse. Another thing that I confirmed today with Travoy Hicks, the early voting supervisor from the Cook County Clerk's Office, if you already cast that ballot by mail, either the mail-in or the absentee, and now you've decided for whatever reason you want to change that or you just want to vote in person, you can do that as well. You will then become a provisional voter, cast the ballot or vote on the touch screen, get the paper ballot. That'll go into the envelope, and they will then nullify the mail-in ballot or the absentee ballot. How they do that, they do it through the provisional voter number. How they sort all that, I have no idea. But it says that provisional votes are not cast on Election Day. After Election Day, provisional votes are examined to determine if they should be counted or not. The clerk's office will identify the ballots using the provisional ID number. This is the only way that the clerk's office can accept or reject provisional ballots. So if you are a provisional voter, they will make that decision. Your vote will not be cast on voting day. If you bring in that absentee ballot or the mail-in and return it to the judge, your vote can be cast as usual. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flaherty. And just for the record, you are an election judge, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure everyone's getting good information and that they know that you're qualified to let them know that. So thanks for the information. Anybody else? Board comments. Trustee Fenn.
First of all, I'd like to thank staff for the birthday cakes. Treats are always wonderful. And I'd also like to wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween. Things are a lot different this year, and I know a lot of the kids are super excited about being able to go out and trick or treat. So if you're able to supply some treats for the kids, it's great. Just remember, masks, gloves, everything will be fine. And hopefully they have a good day and not like a day like today. So happy Halloween in advance.
Trustee Dodge.
Just a couple of comments, Mayor Pecan, thank you. Picking up on Kathy's comments for all the families out there and for all the kids out there, Halloween is obviously fun. This is a very unusual year, so please do it safely. And then I think as everybody in this room probably for themselves is kind of keeping an eye on the situation with COVID in Illinois, and you know, this is still a tough one. We're not out of the woods yet. So I'd like to, again, encourage everybody to make the best decisions they can with the information that they have available to them. And, you know, my hope is that as a country, as a local community, we get through this sooner rather than later. I personally find it discouraging, I think is the right word, that there's new emerging data and science that there's long-term effects for the people who get this thing. And I was telling Trustee Katsinas earlier, saw an email from Johns Hopkins University that there's very early stage evidence that COVID-19 is causing type 1 diabetes in some patients. And then Northwestern here in the Chicago area is starting to take a look at the long-term cognitive effects. All of that said, you know, I think we all have to continue to be disciplined and diligent and do the best things we can for our safety and for the broader community. And I think relatively simple steps are good for all of us. So, you know, God willing, we get through this sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Trustee Calandrello.
Just a quick comment. I had the pleasure of driving by the township this afternoon, and saw a line out the door, a lot of people voting, which is great. So vote if you can, vote early, make a plan. We have a good lesson about mailing ballots. You can always do it old school early, or even older school, and do it on game day. So go vote and have a good Halloween, everyone.
Trustee Healy.
I'd just like to make a comment that I hope we could help out our local businesses and small businesses and retail shops who are still suffering from the COVID pandemic effect. A lot of people got PPP loans. A lot of businesses got PPP loans back in May and June, and a lot of that money is running out. So they've had a tough time so far this year, and there could be more stimulus money on the way, but I fear it's going to be tough on the restaurants and that in the next couple months, and we should try and do our best to keep and help out our local businesses. So do your best to shop Orland.
Trustee Katsinas.
Thank you. In addition to the Village of Orland Park having their Halloween 2 to 8, there's excellent information on Halloween on the village website. There's CDC guidelines, and there's also posters people can put up that they can print out should they not wish to partake in Halloween, or if they do, there's specific instructions. The Orland Park Lions Club is also having a trunk and treat October 24th on Saturday from 11 to 4 at High Point School, which is at 14825 West Avenue. Rumor has it there might be an Air Force jet there, so hope to see you there.
Trustee Malani.
Thank you. Last week I took a ride through Orland Park, and I made a couple stops. I went by Orland Ridge, and I saw that the roads are starting to be put in place and some foundations are being poured. And I also went by the Villas of Cobblestone to check that out, and they're breaking ground over there, and they're starting to make some progress. And new openings for businesses have been popping up left and right. We had some ribbon cuttings, Arc Point Labs, VRS Realty, small businesses, trying to set a footprint here in Orland Park. We've got Pete's Fresh Market and Stand Donuts coming as well. So what does all this mean? It means that despite this pandemic that we're in, Orland Park is continuing to grow. people and businesses want to come to Orland Park, and there's demand for homes here as well. And this is great news, I think, from what has been happening in the last 7 months. So, we've had a great turnout also for the Orland Park Police Department's National Night Out on October 6th. Definitely looked much different than the previous years. No police sirens, no big trucks, no helicopters, but you know what? Over 200 people still attended the event, and they did it safely. They social distanced, and they enjoyed a night out at the movies with their families, and that's what it was really all about. Our staff continuously shows us how they can continue to have these events safely and provide the entertainment and things to do for our residents. So thank you all once again for that. Everybody enjoy yourselves. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you.
My comments are short tonight. So the golf outing raised approximately $18,000 for Veterans Group, and that's even with COVID and lower participation because of that. So we still did a great job. Actually, the veterans groups that participated actually did better than previously because we had less groups that participated. So great job by all, and even with COVID, we still had a very, very successful event. Halloween, be safe out there, and don't forget, and I'm surprised that Kathy didn't mention, the Lions Club has an event here on Saturday, trunk or treat, weather, as long as the weather holds out. So please go enjoy yourself there. Please support your restaurants, support your entertainment center. So when I've seen the numbers for the region, and entertainment venues in particular and restaurants have been really damaged by this. Restaurants, not so much the drive-through restaurants, they've actually done okay. It's the sit-down restaurants that have trouble, and with outdoor seating getting very difficult here because of the cold, I encourage you to, if you are going to go partake, to please do so, because they can use the help to get through this winter, because we are going to see, we're seeing more cases. We're going to see more cases. I don't think this is a shock to anyone. It's cyclical, much like the flu, like rhinovirus. You're going to see cases go up, not to mention the fact that we're testing about 15 times as many people as we were when we had our previous spike. So if you listen to those studies early on in April and May, it was 20 to 30 times as many people had it as what we were identifying. Well, now we're identifying those people because we're testing everybody. So you're going to see a caseload go up, and keep taking the precautions you've been taking. It's not going up because people aren't taking precautions. It's going up because the virus is behaving like a virus. So just continue to take those precautions. Please get out and vote. I'm glad that Ms. Flaherty came up and spoke and gave us some information on the voting. From what I witnessed today, the good news is many people are still going out and voting. So I saw that many people are out there and exercising their right. I encourage everyone to do so. Don't be discouraged from lines that you see. Still get out and vote, whether it's in early voting or on election day. Make sure you exercise that right. It's one of the most important rights we have. So thank you very much. And
Mr. Chairman, could I just, one thing about the Lions Club thing, it is $8 per child.
Okay, I didn't know that, but now I do.
Yep.
So, we don't have an executive session, correct? We do not. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella? Aye. Trustee Dodge? Aye. Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Getzinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Woo-hoo, 8 o'clock.
8:03.